In this video, let me show you how to do the spreadsheet for the friction lab, okay? The first thing we want to do is have a place where we can put the mass of our block. So let's go, just type block mass. And then of course we always want to be good scientists, so we're going to put the units there, right? And this is you mass the block, right? And I'm just going to make up some mass here. Your mass will be different, so don't use my number, okay? And then we are going to go added mass. And that's in grams, right? Total mass, and that's in grams, right? And then we are going to have the weight, and this is really the force in newtons, so that is in newtons. And we're going to calculate that, so don't calculate it by hand, right? And then this is where our data comes, right? So the force before it starts to move is static friction, and that's in newtons. Notice that this is a little bit too big for our cell. So when I type the next one in, it kind of clips it off. I'll show you. There's a cool way to fix that. So kinetic friction, and that's the force that you need to slide it at a constant speed, right? So see how these are not the right size? Go up here and see where it says little double arrow thing. Double click that, and it'll make it the right size. Double click when you get the little arrow. And then we want the mu static and the mu kinetic. And this is the coefficient of friction. This is that weird Greek letter M or whatever. And these don't have any units, so we don't need to put units on there. I can make this a little smaller. I can make that a little smaller. Whoops, I got to hit enter first. Double click, weight. So if you just double click these things, it'll make them the right size for the whatever it is, right? Now your added mass is going to be 0 and 250 because this is what you're adding, right? 500, 750. And 1,000, okay? The total mass is going to be whatever your block mass is. So don't fill this in yet because you're going to fill in whatever your block's mass is, right? But the total mass is just going to equal, so type equals first, then click in this cell, that cell plus, and then whatever the mass of your block is, 201.3 is my mass. And then it's going to offer to autofill. So yeah, if it says to do that, do it. Let's imagine that it doesn't do that, okay? Whoops. If it doesn't autofill, right, then when you hit enter, it'll be here. Click back in that cell. See this little corner thing? Grab that little corner thing. You got to grab the corner thing. You can't grab here, right? You can't do this. You got to grab that little corner thing. It turns into an X and pull that down. Or you can just let it autofill, right? Now to calculate the weight, we're going to say equals. And what we're going to do is take this cell here. So click in this cell, that cell. Let's divide by 1,000 and multiply. And the multiply is the shift 8. It's the asterisk times 9.8. And then hit enter. It's suggesting an autofill, so it's helping me. Again, if it doesn't autofill, just grab that corner, pull that down, right? And then this is where you put your data. Your data actually goes in these spaces, right? So the force with 0 grams on the block, the force that you needed to exert to start it moving, the force that it slides at, the force to start it with 250, the force it slides at, the force to start it moving with 500 grams added to the block, right? With a total of 701 grams, right? The force to slide it, et cetera, right? I'm going to cheat here and just grab some data that I got. I think I stole this from some student. Don't you go using that. I'm just going to paste that in there, okay? And then our coefficients here, the mu's, this guy equals, so type equals again, and it's going to be static mu is the static force divided by the weight. Enter. And it'll say autofill, sure. This equals the force, so the kinetic force divided by the weight. Autofill. Okay, now notice how many digits it's giving us. That's asinine, okay? So select both of those. And let's make it fewer digits. So I think that's what this does. What do you think? Probably like 2 digits is probably exaggerated. Now notice how these coefficients are all about the same. That's what they should be. We should get about, and this is really the slope of our graph to come up that we're about to do. And these are all about the same. How about this? Let's clean this guy up. That's crazy to have that many digits. What do you think? A couple digits, that's probably enough. Okay, so that is how to do the calculations, okay? In the next video, I'll show you how to do the graph, all right?